Hello, I'm Simon Owens, Assistant Managing Editor at U.S. News and World Report. Here with me is reporter Meg Handley, and today we're discussing the state of the housing market and whether we're finally seeing a housing recovery. Meg, so tell me a little bit about the trends we've been seeing over the past few months in the housing market and why they might be different than what we've seen in the past.
Absolutely. Housing has become one of the only bright spots in the economy, which is kind of a huge reversal from what we saw last year. We just got news today that home prices increased another 1%. That's been something that's been going up for several months now. Construction, which was a huge drag on the economy, and sort of the loss from that sector has been increasing as well. Sales are a little bit sawtooth, so a little bit up and down volatility there, but seeing some pretty good housing demand, which has not been the case for a long time now.
Mm-hmm. And so for a few years now, we've been talking about how the economic recovery hasn't been very robust. What role has the failing housing recovery played in that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of economists blamed the poor housing recovery on the poor broader economic recovery, because in past recessions, it's really been the housing recovery that's fueled the broader economic recovery. But this time, part of the reason that we got into this whole mess was because of the housing crisis. So they're very much interrelated. Once we see better job growth, we'll see more housing demand. When we see more housing demand, there'll be more job growth, things of that nature. So they're very interrelated.
Is it too early to say whether or not we're going to start seeing these effects in the economy as a whole, or do you think this is still several months out in advance?
My sources tell me that it's going to be very slow and steady. They see that the worst is behind us. They're not seeing like a complete, reversal turnaround, smooth sailing from here, but they are pretty confident that housing is no longer going to be a drag on the economy anymore. And
can you give us a perspective of how much further it needs to rise before we're at anything approaching normal?
Right, I mean, probably a few years out. I mean, it's not going to be anything even this year or even probably next year. I mean, a guy that I just spoke to today said we're probably a few years away from a normal housing market.
And what about different regions of the United States? Are there some that are recovering quicker? What seems to be lagging? What are you seeing in kind of a regional outlook?
Definitely. I mean, the housing market tanked together. It's recovering in a very fragmented way. So there's areas, and it's all kind of based on the local economy. If there's job growth, there's housing demand. So basically what we're seeing right now is a little bit of regional variations, city by city, neighborhood by neighborhood variations. It's really, really specific recovery.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us at U.S. News and World Report. To learn more, visit us on the web at usnews.com.